I mentioned the week of presence that we had about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that reminded me that I gave a prophetic word at that on July 1st, one of those meetings, that I never really shared here. Um, I was really I felt moved to give that word at that meeting because over about 3 days, about 4 different conversations and prayer times and people kind of all shared the same message that um, that July things were really going to accelerate. And I shared that and I said that there's going to be a lot of things that happen in July, and from the exterior or from the surface, it's going to not all those things that happen are going to look good. They're not going to be good in the sense of beneficial, but in all of those things, God's blessings are going to manifest, and we're going to see God move in those things. Well, July has been a pretty epic month. Of course, we had an assassination attempt. We had a Olympic opening that was kind of an attack on Christianity and Catholicism with the mockery of the Last Supper and Jesus Christ. We had Hurricane Beryl, knockout power for over a week for some people, millions of people. We had internet systems across the country go down for anywhere from a day to a week due to a software upgrade problem. Just all kinds of things happened this month. I feel like I'm probably forgetting some. And that puts an accent point on something that I've been neglecting in our house. Today is going to be kind of a doing business among family more than it is about a preaching the word. Sometimes we have to do that as a family. We have to sit down and talk, okay? And there has been a growing feeling among a lot of pastors and prophets over the course of the year that we need to be preparing, especially for this fall, especially for this election season. We need to be preparing ourselves, not just spiritually and emotionally, but also physically, because those storms, whether it be a physical storm or a political storm or a attack of some sort, those things are going to hit home more and more. And so actually we're going to have another sermon about this in about a month. This is kind of to whet your taste buds a little bit. This is to get your brain thinking along this way, praying about these things, and to start to prepare. Jenny, can you pass out one of those papers to everybody there? This is just a printout from FEMA. This is how to prepare for an emergency. And we're going to go into that deeper in the future, but I want y'all to take this seriously. I want y'all to take this home and read over it, and we're going to be providing some more guidance in the future. Brother Gene's been asking me to talk about this from the pulpit for a year now. There's all kinds of reasons that we should be concerned and be prepared. Others I haven't mentioned yet. Many people believe that there is a major economic downturn coming with the inflation going crazy, with credit card debt going up. There's going to be a time, hopefully we don't reach a super inflation point, but it's just, living is getting to be more expensive. Savings are getting smaller as inflation goes up. Things going on at the border, not just the southern border. I just have a few statistics here from the Congressional Committee website from May 2024. There have been 240,000 encounters just in May alone. Those are apprehensions. Those are people that tried to enter illegally but were considered inadmissible. And those are people that were expelled from the country, deported. 240,000 just in 1 month. That doesn't count in the period since basically January 2021. They estimate that over 2 million people have crossed illegally. gotaways is what they call them. Just since the beginning of the year, January 2024, they estimate that 31,000, well, actually they know 31,000 of those 240,000 encounters were from China, Chinese people trying to get across our physical borders from Mexico or perhaps from the north in Canada. That's an 11,000% increase. There is an invasion happening, and it's not just people from Mexico trying to find a better life. It's actually other potentially hostile people trying to get in. Since in May 2024, there were 10 individuals that were captured who were on the FBI's terror list, with a total of 372 since 2021. Okay, these are people that are internationally recognized terrorists coming across the borders. The northern border is not without exception. They have had an increase of 1,200% of encounters since May of 2021. So even the northern border is seeing a big increase in people crossing illegally and people with nefarious plans. I mentioned our internet outage. 8.5 million computers were down, and that was just from a legitimate software upgrade. That was not an attack. But in April of 2024, the FBI director, Christopher Wray, made this public statement. He said, "The People's Republic of China has made it clear that it considers every sector that makes our society run as fair game in its bid to dominate on the world stage, and that its plan is to land low blows against civilian infrastructure to try to induce pain and break America's will to resist." The FBI director is saying that we are overrun 100-to-1 in Chinese attackers against our American cyber defense systems. And he's basically saying it's not when, or it's not if, it's when, that something major is going to happen. And you might be thinking, well, I don't really have any private information online. I don't really care if they hack my accounts. But you will care if they turn off the lights or they toxify our water, because they are attacking our infrastructure systems, not just the banking systems, not just looking for companies' private intelligence, their IP. They're trying to attack us. And then also we have the assassination attempt, which says a lot about the state of our own country. But then we have the President Biden making a statement about it's best if I step down. Now, I thank him for taking that humble position, but what does that say, read between the lines, to the other leaders of the world? Open game. He's basically saying, I am no longer competent in this position. And if the other countries have not already decided to take advantage of that, I think that it's fair game. Guys, I'm not trying to scare you, because as we heard yesterday over and over again, we know the end game. We know who wins in the end. We know that God's going to move through all of these things, and that we're going to see miracle and blessings after miracle and blessings. But at the same time, we need to be prepared. And just like it says in Proverbs about the ants, they store in the summer so they have provisions in the winter. Okay? And when we do that, not only are we making ourselves more secure from these things, but we also position ourselves so we can be a blessing to others. And that's really what our life in this world is all about. Okay, we are blessed so we can be a blessing to others. And so if we begin to prepare for the uncertainty of the future, and that could be very soon, then we are positioning ourselves so that we can be a blessing, right? Just like we say with the missionaries, we can't reach out and support if we don't have a stable base and foundation ourselves. Okay? So I'm just encouraging y'all to start thinking along these lines, to be prepared. Get your health care ducks in a row. Try to order medications in advance if you can. Start stockpiling some water and some food. Figuring out what kind of energy you need for your food preparation, your climate control if that's necessary, how much money you want to keep on hand, if you're going to start pursuing hunting or gardening or self-defense. These are all things that require a lot of time and preparation, and unfortunately I don't think there's a lot of time before this starts to become more critical. And so it's something that we don't talk about that much but this is actually another way that we can be a witness to the world. You know, it says in Ecclesiastes that if when there are two, if one falls down, the other can pick them up. But guess what? If everybody falls down and the church is flat on their face because they're ill prepared, then how are we going to pick people up? Okay? All right, so that's about as much as I want to say about that. One more thing, I guess, is during the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl, my sister-in-law's parents, who live in Houston area, they had 3 families living with them for a week because they had a generator on their house. These other families, also older families, they weren't able to live in their home at a high degree, high heat. Yep. Yeah, solar panel is a good option for limited power supply. They have a full up propane or natural gas. So anyway, that is an evangelistic opportunity. We don't need to view being prepared or being a prepper as a selfish, fearful action. We can actually see it as an evangelistic preparation. Okay, that's my sermon number 1.